Welcome to Wayne Guitars. I'm Wayne Charvel, and I've been building guitars and modifying guitars and customizing them and painting them for over 40 years. And we're going to show you our factory tour, and we really hope you enjoy it. Thank you.
Here's my dad cutting a maple fretboard for Warren Martini of Rat. When Warren gets his guitar, this thing is gonna smoke. And there is the finished fretboard. The slots are all cut. From there, we'll glue that on the neck, which is the next step. Here's my dad resawing Warren Martini's neck. The first shot he was cutting a fretboard. This is a piece of maple. And there's the neck blank. Here he is planing the neck blank. Here's the neck being rough cut before it goes on the pin router. Our necks are completely handmade, no CNC machines. And there's the rough cut. Now we're going to route the outer periphery of the neck on the overhead pin router. Here we go. Now that the neck has been completely routed, we're going to take it off the fixture and bring it back over to the mill and mill out the truss rod. So there's the complete routing of the neck. Here's my dad, Wayne Charvel, milling out a skunk stripe on one of our necks.
Here's our freshly cut fingerboard. We're going to install that now onto the neck. We've already put our glue on. Line it up with our marks.
Here's my dad cutting the rear contour of the neck. We have a special bit custom made to do this. Now that the frets have been installed, we'll trim all the ends off. After the frets are cut, they get filed by hand to have a nice smooth feel to the neck. Now that the neck is completed, we're going to start on our body. We're going to join the two pieces of alder and glue them up. And when those dry, we're going to start routing it out. Now that the wood is joined, we're going to glue the two pieces together and we're going to let that dry overnight. And then tomorrow we'll come back and put it in the pin router and route it out and do the final sanding and get it into paint. Now that the body blank has been glued up, we're going to run it through the planer to smooth it out and get the correct thickness for the body. So here we go.
Now that we've planed the wood to size and marked the center line, we'll attach our template. And this template routes the all the pickups, the neck, and the back slot. So we'll do that right now, and then we'll route the pickups. We'll show you that in 1 second. Okay, we'll have to adjust the router first. With the template screwed down to the body and our pickup route shown here, we're going to put it on the pin router and show you how we do the pickups. Here's the finished trim cavity, the humbucker, and the 2 single coils. We're going to take the template off and route the outside periphery with another template. Now that we've moved this template off the body and put this one on, we'll flip the body over and route the tremolo cavity in the back. We'll show you how we do that. Here we go. Now I have to put a little piece in the back of this body to finish routing the trim, and I'll show you how we do that.
Another thing I was going to mention with this pin router's done bodies for Eddie Van Halen, Warren Dean Martini of Rat. We've done Oz Fox, Striper's bodies right on this exact same pin router. Brian Young from the Daily Roth Band, his body was routed on this router. Russ Parrish from the Atomic Punks, Twisted Sister, Michelangelo, done a lot of famous rock stars' bodies with these pin routers.
And I built this pin router out of an old Stanley unit, and this is an Italian table that we welded on here. The Rockwell, a Porter Cable 3.5 horsepower router. I'm now going to set this plate in the back here. This fits in here like this, so we can finish routing our cavity for the back. Here we go.
There's the
finished tremolo route there. Now you can see why that plate was put in there, to keep us from going that depth all the way up in here. We're going to remove this template after first drawing a line around it so we can rough bandsaw it, and we do that like so. This is the way we did everything in the old days, and it worked then and it works now, and we're not worried about making hundreds of guitars every week. Our maximum amount of guitars we can do right now is about 1 a day. We work 5 days a week. That's 5 guitars a week. And we feel very comfortable in doing that. I'm going to take this over to the bandsaw right now after drawing the mark on it. And we're going to cut it out. There we have the rough outline cut out. Now we'll put the template back on and route the outside periphery with the template. We'll do that now. There you have the final cut. The next step would be to take it over to our table router, put the round radius on the edges, and then draw our line with our template and cut this. We cut this body contour with a bandsaw, and also the arm contour with a bandsaw, and then just lots and lots of sanding. And this is the same pattern that we used on some of the early Van Halen guitars too. We have several of these that we've made off of this one over the years as they wear out. And we'll remove this, and I'll show you what the body looks like. There it is. And after it's sanded, we won't bore you with all that because everybody just about knows how to sand. Mike's going to go over and we're going to show you how we do the paint in our paint booth, which is located right over here past the bandsaw. And we're going to do that in a few seconds for you.
All right, now that we have the body built and sanded, the next step we're going to do is shoot a sealer coat on it. And after that, we'll sand that, shoot a white base coat on. We're going to do this guitar for a guitarist on one of our good dealers out in New York, and it's going to have a leopard skin pattern over the whole guitar. So here we go. Let's turn the spray booth on. Wear some protective gear. And a mask. Here's some guitars that I just shot, various graphics. This one right here is one of my new Hellfire Reverse Flames. This is a candy color, and it's at the top on its flame maple wood, and you can see the flame inside the flame part itself. And all our guitars now we're doing with hot rod flames are all hand pinstriped. There is no tape line. The tape line just looks cheesy. It's more money and it's more work to do the pinstriping on there, but it looks a lot cooler. Next guitar I did for a customer. This has flip-flop in the paint. I don't know if you can see that in the right light, but it changes 3 colors. This stuff is $5,000 a gallon for this particular paint. And this one is a mild tribal flame. That's real variegated gold leaf in the flame. And keep in mind, once we get the clear on these and rub them out, it really pops them out. There's no clear on these right now. They're getting ready to be cleared. Here's a guitar I'm doing for Eddie Ojeda for Twisted Sister. That's one of his new signature model guitars that we're doing. And it's a reissue of his original Bullseye, except we added a pickup in there on his request, a neck pickup. Speaking of reissues, here's a reissue of Warren B. Martini's guitar, the Cross Swords, and again this gets more clear on it. And it's a cool looking guitar from the 80s. And this one right here is a traditional hot rod flame, again with real variegated gold leaf. It's not the tribal, it's a nice flowing traditional, and it's all hand pinstriped as well. Alright, now we're done painting the graphic on. The next thing I'm going to do is shoot some clear on it, sand it and rub it out, which I already have a body in the buffing room, which we'll go to next, and I'm going to buff some other bodies. But this graphic's all done. That leopard skin looks mean. Yeah. Alright, while that leopard skin's drying, this is a checkerboard custom. We only made 3 of these total. I'm going to rub this one out and show you how we do with the buffers here. We start out with a compound wheel. One false move or slip and the job's ruined. You can smack in the buffer or rupture the paint. So these take a lot of practice and being very careful with the guitar. Like that leopard skin, I probably got about 5 or 6 hours just in the graphic alone. So it's real nerve-wracking when you're rubbing something like that out, because in 2 seconds the whole job's ruined. You gotta start over again. As you can see on the camera, there's the area we sanded and start to get a nice shine there. And then this second wheel takes all the fine scratches out and puts a nice shiny gloss finish on the guitar. And again, I'm not going to show you the whole thing because we'll be here for a couple hours, so we can do that one piece. But as you can see, it's starting to get there. That's what it was when we sanded it.
Okay, now that my dad shielded the guitar, we're going to install the components. So here we have a high quality 500K pot. I'm going to install that. And then next we're going to install the jack. We use nothing but the finest components on all of our guitars. This is a Switchcraft jack with a shielded braided cable. And the reason why we use the shielded braided cable, it makes the guitar a little bit quieter when you're playing extremely loud volume or you're running multiple amps or effects. Okay. All the screw holes are countersunk. Therefore, when we put the jack in there, it's not going to crack or chip the paint out of it. And we do that with every hole in the guitar body.
Okay, that's the last string, Mike.
All right, well, this guitar is ready to go to the music zoo out in New York.
Okay, there you have it, folks. Another Wayne guitar going out. What we're going to do now is just wipe the fingerprints off the guitar. Another thing that Mike forgot to tell you is that we round the edge of the fingerboard by hand, which makes the guitar really play nice. It feels really worn in. And we'll just wipe the fingerprints off this guitar, put it in the case and box it out, and it goes to the lucky buyer.
Now that the guitar has been completely assembled and set up, we're going to strobe it. And here's a shot of our strobe tuner right here. There we go. That strobe tuner's in a lot of guitars for a lot of famous artists.